decades, the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, or GHG emissions, has been the main topic of several international discussions, but it was not until 2015 that the importance of its proper and ratified execution was openly highlighted to the world. When 195 countries signed the Paris Agreement and the United Nations General Assembly announcing the Sustainable Development Goals, it became evident that reducing GHG emissions was not enough by itself, but that it had to be done as a part of a global wave of sustainable development. Amidst this worldwide goal, numerous mechanisms aiming to achieve GHG reduction along with sustainable economic development have been executed, and two in particular proved their effectiveness in ensuring both. The first is the utilization of market-based instruments, specifically emissions trading. Emissions trading discourages generating emissions by putting a price on GHG emissions and encourages emitters to find cost-effective abatement options through trading of emissions allowances in the carbon market. Historically, economic development was heavily associated with GHG emissions from energy generation, but with instruments such as emissions trading, economic growth can be decoupled from carbon pollution. Currently, emissions trading has already been implemented in several OECD countries, including all EU member states, which have been part of the EU emissions trading system, or EU ETS, since 2005. The positive effects of EU ETS have shown that market-based approaches to GHG reduction ensure sustainable economic growth as well. From 1996 to 2016, EU GDP grew by 53%, while total GHG emissions decreased by 23%. Demonstrating that the reliance on GHG emitting energy for economic growth has decreased. However, simply implementing emissions trading systems is not enough. Article 6 of the Paris Agreement encourages cooperation between parties to achieve their nationally determined contribution targets. And as new systems of emissions trading emerge, cooperation of all levels will be crucial. California and Quebec operating a joint carbon market since 2014, and Saitama and Tokyo linking their emissions trading systems are acknowledgeable representations of such cooperation. The second way is the implementation of policies that increase energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is the amount of output that can be produced with given energy input. According to BP's statistical review of World Energy 2020, fossil fuels, one of the main contributors of GHG emissions, still account for 84% of the world's primary energy consumption. Increasing energy efficiency reduces the demand for fossil fuels and thereby GHG emissions, and it is the cheapest and often the most immediate way of doing so, according to the International Energy Agency. Energy efficiency can also ensure sustainable economic development in numerous ways. First, it allows more resources to be allocated to households, businesses, and governments by lowering the cost of energy services. Second, it creates employment in sectors such as building, electricity, and manufacturing. The advantages of energy efficiency policies have already been demonstrated by China. Since the mid-2000s, China has incorporated energy efficiency as an essential element of its economic and industrial policies. As a result, coal consumption fell 19 million tons per year, and the domestic market for energy efficiency services and technologies expanded. Therefore, nations should implement energy efficiency policies with clear objectives and continuous execution to ensure both sustainable economic growth and GHG reduction. The most crucial thing to note, however, either when utilizing emissions trading or implementing energy efficiency policies, is that nations must not halt at the level of being independent entities. GHG emission is an obstacle set for the entire world, and it must be addressed accordingly, especially when sustainable economic development is also called for. Therefore, while nations must strive to execute emissions trading and energy efficiency at a national level, they must establish multilateral cooperation to expand these solutions for the world. Thank you.
If I may, thank you very much, Seungjoo. I very much enjoyed your presentation. I think the presentation was very excellent and innovative. I have a very simple question, and don't be as serious, but try to be simple to answer. Some of the advanced countries are having sort of less challenges to mobilize resources in order to be able to achieve the Paris Agreement. But the developing countries are facing many shortage of the resources. So in your idea, how do you mobilize the resources?
I think the most immediate action that comes into my mind is the help of international organizations. For example, I mentioned emissions trading in my speech, but developed countries have an advantage over developing countries because, for example, in terms of emissions trading, it requires administrative efforts, but developing countries don't really have that. So in order for developing countries and developing countries to meet this criteria, I think international organizations should do their best to distribute these necessary resources. For example, the UNDP has a national development contribution program, support program, and such international organizations can help these discrepancies meet, in my opinion.